freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 283 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearms.com, your nationwide hometown gun shop. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our show today, our theme is how far can they go, right? How far can they go?
How far can they go? And who are our guests today, Dan?
It's you and I.
Just you and I. I love it. We did this a couple weeks ago, and I just started feeling like we don't have enough time in our little wrap-ups to really dig into some things. And I wanted to spend some time doing that today. Based on some current events.
You mean there's stuff going on?
Go figure. There's just maybe one or two things going on.
Yeah.
So what was on my mind is that, whatever you think of the job that Donald Trump did as president, whatever you think of the man, Donald Trump, whatever that is, can we just for today, just for right now, pull back from all the preconceived notions and all the emotions that seem to have become attached to that particular name, and instead look at there's an American citizen who was brought to trial, right? This most recent impeachment trial, I guess you could still call it that, even though that traditionally has always been just for seated presidents. And Donald Trump is no longer a seated president as far as we can factor out from this craziness of our last election. So here's the citizen.
One impeachment was to remove a president from office. That's what impeachment terms is, right?
Due to high crimes and misdemeanors.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But that's all it is. It doesn't say anything about citizens or dogs or cats. It just says.
Right. So here's a citizen who's brought to trial. And in that trial, the people that are bringing charges against him, actually, we watched in real time show us how dishonest they were willing to be in doctoring evidence, manufacturing evidence. And where I'm going with my thought process is these are the same people, senators, right? Duly elected, seated, representatives, oath taking,
right?
Representatives, leaders. I know we hate to use that word. Willing to go to extremes of dishonesty,
whatever it takes,
to come against a United States citizen. These are the same people who want to introduce and implement brand new gun laws.
Scary.
In the form of HR127 and HR30 are the two that are on the top of my mind today. So HR127, we've been hearing a lot about. FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition, even has a website up to make people aware and to get informed and push back on this. It's called Fight. what is it called? FightHR127.com, FIGHTHR127.com. And then just recently, I saw an article come up on bearing arms written by Patrick Richardson, February 11th, 2021. Look that one up. It's called New Gun Trafficking Bill Could Cripple Legal Firearms Market. So the point that I want to make is that how could we possibly let the people who would do this to an American citizen lie in front of our faces in real time have any
Trust in them.
more? How would we have any trust in them?
Yeah.
Thank you. How would we let them have any more power or control over our individual personal liberties?
Right. And you look at the situation and the climate that we have right now, and that we can't trust our lawmakers. And we look at some of the bills that they have here. I looked at the one here, the one that you're talking about, the
HR30.
HR30 is the one where the transferring guns.
Mm-hmm.
The to read it will give you a headache, because
Always.
I
make them
pretty well
complicated on purpose.
been in the gun business with AZ Firearms for several years, 20 years or so. I think I kind of know what the laws are and what you can do and what you can't do. And I look at these, and they're basically saying nothing. But they're saying everything.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if a lawmaker doesn't like the way you're doing business, they can show that what you're doing legally is illegal because the word's twisting around.
Yeah.
It's
not
vote
safe. Yes to vote no, right?
Right. It's
vote
just
yes in order
right.
to say no.
It's just not safe. It's just like there's one where transferring a firearm. Do you want to talk about that one?
Sure, go ahead.
Transferring a firearm. So if a person would buy a gun, let's say on Gunbroker, and have it transferred to a shop, according to this law, you would have to be the one that owned the gun to transfer the gun. Now, you could go and say, well, the FFL dealer, as soon as that gun hits his books, he owns the gun. But the law could say, well, he didn't pay you. He paid the guy that was in Chicago or wherever. Well, not Chicago. There's no guns there. But anyway, so
Kentucky. We'll pick
right, Kentucky, right. So they could say you did something illegal that you really didn't do anything illegal. You did according to the law. Or what if one of your clerks transfers a gun? Well, you're the one with the FFL. They're working under you. If you own the gun shop, the guns belong to you, and your clerk sells a gun, it's not their gun to sell. It's just too vague. But the more vague they make it, the easier it is for them to convince you that you're the criminal, right?
Absolutely. Well, not even convince you, but to convince
no, I'm talking to the public.
Yeah.
Right,
yes. The general public. Thank you.
It's sort of like those when they go, we found a hoard of guns, and the guy had 20 guns.
Yes.
So that's not a hoard. That's not even a collection.
Cache.
That's just
guns.
That's just 20 guns.
Yeah, exactly. So, or when they say he had 1,000 rounds of ammunition in the trunk of his car.
1,000 rounds. He must have already went shooting.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000 rounds. I guess that sounds dramatic to people that aren't, have never gone and practiced with their firearm.
Right.
But,
So we already have laws right now in the books that stop straw purchasing. Now, it is an obligation of a gun shop owner to do the best they can to make sure that somebody's not skating under that law.
And that is part of the trickiness
Right.
of it. And when we already have so many reasons to distrust, to not have trust, to not instill or give any more trust in the people sitting in the Senate, right? Specifically because of these recent events where they manufactured and doctored evidence against a United States citizen to try to get charges against this person. So how about this? That bill, HR30, slips in language essentially creating a red flag law. Well, the red flag law is using like mental health issues to try to say, well, that person shouldn't own firearms. Well, why shouldn't that person? Have they been diagnosed with something? Not necessarily, right? Have they made any credible and documented threats and have had any legal action taken against them, or have they been put in a holding position, that they have a 72-hour
How would you know
mental
that?
check? Well, right. Well, the 4473, the background check, can help with some of that. But these red flag laws jump in front of all of that, and they basically let untrained, uh, just normal citizens who maybe would have some ulterior motive to keep you from having firearms, to keep their neighbor or their ex-husband or their, whoever in their life, ex-wife, from having these firearms. And so this language in here says it includes a finding that such person that would have the firearm represents a credible threat to the physical safety of such intimate partner or child. Well, how do we know that? What is that based on? That is so subjective. What is the criteria for that? The one that really kind of gets me farther down in this article, um, it's a very subjective piece of language. And it says if HR30 was passed, it would replace an entire section amended to read, and the section is 924H. Whoever knowingly receives or transfers a firearm or ammunition or attempts to conspire to do so, knowing or having reasonable cause to believe that such firearm or ammunition will be used to commit a crime of violence as defined in so and so and drug trafficking, and it goes on and on. And so it's like, so how far can
Well, knowingly,
people
here's
who
what,
lie
right,
to our faces, how far can they go to try to say, well, you should have known, counter worker,
right.
right,
Here's what's
at
scary.
Cabela's or at
Yeah.
AZ Firearms? How far can they go to say you should have known that this gun was about to be used in drug trafficking?
Yeah. The term knowingly, I could understand knowingly, but I don't understand having a reasonable cause to believe.
Mm-hmm.
That is where it's scary. And we live that situation every day. And I'll tell you that, as a gun shop owner and as a rights person,
Mm-hmm.
everybody that walks in that door, I want to make sure that we don't take any rights away from them
Exactly.
that are not prohibited.
Exactly.
So a person comes in and buys a gun, and they say something stupid or say something that they're not educated enough to understand,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have to make a decision whether or not to sell that gun to that person. It's really hard for us, the employees, everyone, because we don't want to take a law-abiding citizen's rights away from them. I don't want to be the police.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. Knowingly is when a person walks in this door and says, yeah, I need to buy a gun. I'm going to kill or I'm going to do harm to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We knowingly know because he told us
Right.
he was going to do this.
Right.
We would knowingly say, we can't sell you the gun.
Right.
Right.
And
that's
P.S. that has never happened, by the way.
No, but now if a person comes in and says something that we're not really sure what they mean by it, I mean, it's hard to explain. But there's been times where we've had to turn sales down to customers. We had one recently where the lady was in tears, and it's the short of the story is, so she came in to do a transfer for a gun, and then her partner was buying a gun at the same time. They said they lived together. They didn't have to say they lived together, but they said they lived together to the clerk. Now, normally that would be a conversation that go one ear and out the other ear. But when the partner was denied the gun, we couldn't sell the gun to her, the other gun to her. We couldn't transfer again. Now, this is hardship for her because now we have to ship the gun back. So we have to do.
She didn't get denied, and that's the
right,
hard thing.
Right.
But yet we would knowingly be transferring a gun to somebody that lives with someone who's
right.
denied. It just gets very
It's
complicated.
Ugly.
And, because we have to cover our behinds
right.
so much because we live in such a litigious society where people are so ready to use legal means, whether it's criminally, civilly, whatever it is.
Oh, don't talk about Gorilla Glue like that. They're good people.
Gorilla glue.
The girl with that hairsprayed herself with used her
Oh,
Gorilla
I
Glue with
didn't even know
hairspray.
that's what it was. It was
Yeah,
Gorilla
so
glue.
she used hairspray. She
Mhm,
didn't have any hairspray,
mhm,
so she used a spray Gorilla Glue
mhm,
and sprayed it on her head.
mhm.
And there's been rumors, I don't know, that she was going to sue Gorilla Glue because it didn't say you couldn't put it on your hair.
People,
Come on, I mean,
personal
it says do not
responsibility
put on
is still a
skin.
thing.
It says do not put on skin,
Mhm.
but it didn't say hair.
But I think you did tell me, and it's funny that I never even knew what kind of glue it was. But didn't you say that she has now said, "Look, I'm not
Yeah, there's
going to
that.
sue
I said
them"?
there's rumors.
Okay.
There are some people that I think there were some attorneys that tried to take the case for her, tried to
Mm,
convince her. But I did hear on an interview that she denied uh, doing a legal thing.
mhm.
But
And here's the rough thing, right? That these senators who have done this impeachment thing, brought a private citizen to trial, brought knowingly manufactured, altered, uh, uh, tainted evidence. So nothing happens to them. Like nothing
right,
happens to them.
and they
There's
knew,
no recourse that we can take other than to remember and try to, not vote for them again and vote for their opponent in the future.
that there was no chance that it's you can't impeach a civilian.
Mhm.
If that was the case, we could go back to George Washington and impeach him all the
Right.
way back. So they knew this in there. It was just a show. That's all it was. And they used millions of our dollars,
Right. Right.
to put this show on. I didn't want to watch.
No, I really didn't watch it. I watched a lot of the news clips and some of the testimony that was put out on shorter video clips, because how could I invest my time? My time is my most valuable commodity, in watching what I knew was a sham right from the beginning. But then when I started seeing how they had manufactured and altered
And this is
evidence
knowingly, right? We have proof, right?
knowingly, absolute, there's no way that they couldn't have known when they add information to evidence. Something as simple as a blue check mark on one of the tweets that was presented in court. Why lie? What, it's such a dumb little thing for them to lie about, but it shows us so clearly. They can show the original tweet, and then the people that are exposing this show the original tweet, and then the tweet that they screenshotted for the court, and one has a blue check mark and one does not. It's like, why, if you will lie about something that otherwise inconsequential, then if you will lie about little things, you will lie about big things.
You know what I
And
call
if
that?
I can't trust you in little things, I can't trust you in big
That's
things.
criminal.
It should be, but there's nothing
I mean, if you
other
went,
than publicly discussing it and helping people open their eyes to this level of dishonesty, that we just give a pass because of what?
royalty,
Maybe royalty, maybe because it's our team, right? We've got the big D on our jersey, go Democrats. And as long as it's coming against that one person that we hate, that we've been told how much we should hate, then we'll excuse it, right? Well, then if if anyone can get away with doing that, what are you going to do when they turn that
on you,
power, right,
on us,
on you?
right?
So, we get so tribal, is the easiest way to say about it. We get so wrapped up in the teams that we're rooting for, that we identify with, that we lose sight of the fact that this was horrible, what was done to another citizen. I don't care what you think
Right.
about the citizen. I don't care how you feel about the citizen. If you don't understand what was done was horrible and could be done to anyone, could be done to your child, your adult child, could be done to your spouse, could be done to your parents.
Well, how far would you go if your next door neighbor was that way? What if your next door neighbor, every time you turn around, was doing something to you and messing with you? That would be illegal. You could have a case that that's illegal, but they'd still, you know, I don't
Like
know. If the
harassment
people that
type
don't
things.
like Trump, there are obviously people that don't like Trump and the Trump type people,
Mhm.
and you got to look at the progress that he's done, the good things that he's done. These people hate. It's nothing. There's no other word for it. It has to be hate. They just cannot live another day unless they do something. I'm surprised if they don't go further with this.
Well, do you know what one of the greatest uniters is? Is having a common enemy. And so there's this situation where there's so many people that they can feel bonded
Right. Just going after.
with their team because they have this common enemy that
No matter
they've
what.
decided.
No matter what.
No matter what.
You'll manufacture stuff.
How far can they go? So they can do that, and they against that guy because we can't stand his name, right?
Right.
Well, what else have they done it against? Well, they're definitely doing it against people who own firearms.
Yeah.
They're weird. They're French. They're dangerous. Like, what's wrong with you mentally that you think you need to walk around with a gun all the time? These are the messages that they pump out there.
So they're like a big clique. They're like a group of people that they go after somebody. Then after that person's all gone, then they go to somebody else in the group, the weakest of that group, and then they go after them. It kind of reminds me of high school.
Oh, easily. I was
the high school
I
kids.
think 7th grade. I always go like junior high, but girls can be really, really mean. So maybe they start a little earlier. Maybe it's junior high for girls, and guys get into that cliquishness, and we're cool and you're not cool. And if you're not cool, we've got to actually do something to you. Like, why would you have to do something punitive to somebody? Just leave them alone. Let them be weird over there.
Cassie might beep this out, but Cheryl, these people that are running Congress, they're grown-ass men and women. Grown-ass men and women.
Now we got 2 beeps.
Right. Dan. That are making our decisions for us, our laws in our life. And
such immature thinking.
Look at the fact is that we all knew that you cannot impeach a civilian. I mean, it's constitutional law. It can't be done. They still did it, and they didn't care. So what makes you think they're going to care about anything they do? Lie? Do they even they probably have a license to manufacture lies.
Well, they act like they do. They act like
because they act like
they've been elected.
I know I lied.
Carte blanche to do whatever they want.
Right.
And
it's for the good of the people.
Our recourse.
Right. It's for the good. We can lie. We can do these things. We can deceive and lie because it's good for the people.
Well, why is it good for the people? Because they vilified that guy over there that they can't stand.
Right.
And they do it with gun owners and people that support the Second Amendment. So
now there is, I just want to say there are some Congress men and women leaders that are good people.
Oh, absolutely. I think for me, that goes without saying, but there's been such a push from one particular party, right? And it seems to be part of their party platform. It's almost like the ends justify the means, no matter what it is. And then we start getting a little tribal. And it's like, oh, so that political party is all corrupt. And so this other political party, therefore, is not corrupt? Maybe is a little less corrupt, but it's okay because we think they're better.
That's a scary thought.
It is a scary thought.
I was thinking.
So we have to think individually, and we have to weigh out actions. We can't take whole people and either hero worship them or garbage them.
No, it's each person. It's like, the police officers, they wanted to defund the police because they're all crooked. And no, there may be there are a few bad policemen out there. Absolutely. Just like any race. You can't say, well, he's this, so he's bad.
Right.
No, you have to take,
so he's good.
Right. So you have to take individual. But it scares me because if I was a leader in Congress and I'm being overthrown by all this corruption from out there, okay, they're almost so overwhelming with corruption that I can't fight them. And so what do? I quit. And then when I quit, that's even more corruption coming in. So for the people out there that are leaders of the people and that are doing an honest, fair share, to make sure that we're all safe, thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you for fighting this, and please continue to fight and get the corruption out of Washington. Now, it's scary because Trump was doing that, in my opinion, and look what happened to him.
Well, very much so. Exactly. And then we do have to wrap up, but just even using the word fight, that the way that they twisted language in this trial against a citizen, I mean, that's kind of part and parcel for any trial, that they do that sort of thing. But it's almost like there's a scenario being created that we have to censor ourselves and not use any action words, right? It's
Right.
like we're gonna
They'll
fight,
label you if
right?
you do.
We're gonna fight HR127.com. Go there, check it out for the Firearms Policy Conference. Well, what do you mean by fight? Are you threatening me? No, we're saying, we're pushing back. Oh, you're going to
Push it. You're
shove
going to
me?
push me? Yeah.
Right. No, we're drawing a line. Well, what happens if I come over that line? What are you implying?
You'd
Right?
have to ask Obama that. He drew a lot of lines.
Yeah, that's
But anyway.
another topic for another day. Okay, everybody.
Hey, please just be aware of what's going on out there, guys and girls, because it is scary when they can make laws that they word it how, whether you do it legal or what, no matter how you do it is wrong. That's the whole point.
And when the people that are levying,
damn that Constitution. If only we could change the Constitution. You know what we need to do? We need to get about 40 butts and put them in the Constitution.
Yeah.
And if we did that, we'd rule the world.
Ands, and buts.
Would it be
right?
just cheaper and easier, guys, just to move to Venezuela or something like that?
Seems like it would be. But yes, what Dan's saying is right and true. Please think your way through these things. Don't get caught up in the emotional manipulation. But yeah, when there's no ramifications on the people who are levying accusations, hauling us into courts, suing us, whether criminally, civilly, whatever, there's no repercussion back on them. They're just going to keep doing it. So maybe that's something to think about for the future is, how do you, there's this phrase, where do I go to get my reputation back? Right? Once somebody's just dumped on you, doesn't have to be true. It just has to be implied.
Well, you go to the company that runs your reputation and pay them a lot of money, and then they'll fix it for you.
Oh yeah, online, all that online. We'll fix your reputation online.
Yeah, after we destroyed it first.
Yeah. Okay, we got to go.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you so much to all of our amazing listeners. Thank you to my guest, Dan Todd.
And thank you to my guest, Cheryl Todd, the guy.
If I'm the guy, then you're the other guy. Man, I'm gonna have to get some more lipstick or something, up my game here. All right. Well, please, if you've missed any portion of the show, go to GunFreedomRadio.com, click the On Demand tab, and binge listen to your heart's content. And you can binge watch if you go to the smartphone app OpsLens, YouTube. So far, they haven't kicked us off for saying gun. The day is coming.
You know what? I think there's a chance that YouTube could change the way they're doing things. I pray that they do.
Me too.
I mean,
we're going to get to the prayer part.
Yeah. All right.
And also Gun Streamer, one of my favorite places. We end up trending over there all the time. So that's kind of fun to look that up and see, oh, we're trending again. All right.
Gun Streamer, that kind of, I vision that as me having a gun by a stream and the water's flowing through and the birds are chirping.
Dan needs a vacation
Yes.
really bad, guys. All right. And just thank you so much for spending the time with us. You could be doing anything, anywhere, and you spent the time with us. And your time is your most finite commodity. When you spend it with us, that is everything. And we value you. All right. Until next week, what are we going to do? We're going to pray
for our nation.
Ooh, we said that in unison. We're going to pray for our leaders. Right?
Take me to your leader.
All of them, Dan?
Yeah.
Even the ones in the Senate who did this horrible thing to a United States citizen?
Sure, because we can still vote them out. But,
Okay.
yeah,
I
but,
like
yeah, we
it.
can pray for
Maybe
them.
especially those ones who did this horrible thing
Yes.
to United States citizen and are trying to probably do more horrible things to more United
And I'm going to
States
pray for all
citizens.
those lawmakers that are trying to make gun laws that we already have enough of,
Yes.
try to make gun laws. I'm going to pray for them to have wisdom,
Oh my gosh.
not
right?
control, but wisdom.
Wisdom.
Control, no control.
And a
just
value
wisdom.
for our heritage. All right, we've really got to go. Until next week, have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Be good to each other,
Okay, God bless.
and God bless.
Yes.